Right, and we are live. Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. I'm Stuart, and this is MLM for CEOs, the channel that is aimed at providing key insights to company owners operating within this lucrative multi-level marketing space. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, NetReady. Thank you so much for allowing us this time in the studio. In this episode, we're going to be speaking about communicating with your network and how important it is and the different avenues that we can communicate with our teams. Here to help me unpack that information is a good friend and mentor of mine, a man with over 35 years experience in this industry. His name is Richard Sletcher.
Nice to see you, Stu.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's good to be back in the studio.
I
say that every time, but it's kind of...
Oh, it's true.
It's such a wonderful, quiet, lovely space.
Where we can talk about things on this epic industry. I mean, 35 years plus years you've been involved in this industry, and every day you wake up, and you tell me this, with as much enthusiasm as when you started.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful space to be in, you know.
That's awesome.
I really do love it and enjoy it.
Okay, so in this episode, we're going to be speaking about communicating with our network. Now, this relates to teams, new RBOs, independent business owners that are joining. What are we trying to do with our communication as best as possible? And the answer is to try to automate some of those processes.
Yeah, well, the challenge with communication is either you're automating or you are continually sending communications and you're winging it. It's off the cuff. And so, my recommendation with clients is find out what your key communications are and then automate those processes.
Sure.
And make sure that everything happens in a sequence based on where the agent is. Because when a new agent joins, you don't have to sit down and send them a new welcome to the team email. You should automate that process. When they get promoted to a new rank, that should be automated.
Sure.
So I agree with you. The primary thing with communication should be it should be personalized. Hey, Stuart. Mm-hmm. And it should be automated so that the company doesn't have to like a set it and forget it type approach to most of the communication.
Right. So, what you're speaking about there is if an RBO joins the network, you've set up a sequenced event because of the stage in which they are in the process. They've just joined the business, they've registered, they need to receive an email straight away, welcome them to the business, here are your next steps, setting the expectation, whatever it is.
Yes.
But you as the company owner, you can't be spending your time doing that. So it has to be an automated process through your system.
Yes. And so whatever software you're using should have built-in, automated, personalized communication mechanisms that will send out that messaging to the client and provide them the next steps to get their business up and running. And you can do that right throughout. So, for example, when the person is going to be promoted to team leader, you could have a whole series of communications that go out to prepare them to be a team leader. Maybe send them to an e-learning course that teaches them all about being a team leader and get them to pass a quiz and, that kind of stuff. And that should be an automated process. You shouldn't be thinking about it.
Sure.
Like if a person gets promoted, it should be automated. Well done. I see you've hit
X rank.
Congratulations. You became a team leader. That's amazing. Your next step is a silver team leader. This is what you need to do it. So you could have a next steps of communication. You could have whatever. All of those things actually are what make the entire experience very, very powerful.
Sure.
And to automate it, you don't have to worry about it. Set it, forget it, off it goes.
Yeah. One of the big things that impressed me, especially coming from the marketing background, is that of connecting with people, but ensuring that the open rate of your things like emails is higher than if you just sent out the email by itself. I know you came up with an awesome concept in which to increase the open rate of those mails. Yeah. Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah, so what we found is that we had quite a low opening rate on our emails, around about a 20% mark. And so the system we use tracks to see if the person opened it. And then we have a second sequence that says if the person does open it, take them on this track. If they don't open it, send them an SMS to tell them, listen, we sent you an email and we see you haven't opened it. Why don't you open it and check out because it's awesome.
Sure.
And we found that our open rate went from sort of 20% to 80%.
Yeah.
So the SMS triggered the guy's curiosity. He then went into the system and opened the emails. Now, obviously, you can't do that all the time because you wear out your welcome chop chop.
Yeah.
But if you've got really important emails that you're sending out, that's a fantastic way to increase your open rate.
I love that.
Works really well.
It's very cool. In terms of the importance of communication, and we'll go into the different areas that we can communicate with those people in different stages. But the importance of communication, you know, sometimes networkers find themselves quite isolated in terms of joining the business and, you know, not being in a phase between events, and however they may. Getting communication from the company just validates them again why they're in this business, gives them that support. I mean, so how important is that?
No, it's critical. And also, when you put these automated emails together or SMSs, you've got to be very careful to not make them look corporate.
Sure.
Okay, so you don't want a hi, comma, Stuart, full stop.
Right, yeah.
Blah-de-blah-de-blah, all broken down. You know, you want it to be very impersonal. Hey, Stuart, I saw you hit your 200 points today. That is just so epic. Your next step is whatever. Go for it, boy.
Yes, nice.
Regards, whoever the company owner is or whoever the communicator is. Regards, Richard. And sort of keep it very informal so that it feels like that the owner is actually writing to you, you know. Whereas if you kind of put this thing in and it's very formal, then it looks like a formal letter, it looks automated, and it loses the impact completely. So you really want to keep it informal and make it very loose in terms of your presentation of that.
Yeah.
But there's some cool things you can do. You know, one of the big things with communication is that you can focus on things like recognition. So let's say a person hits $2,000 in sales in a month. You can have an email that is triggered around hitting the 2,000 sales, so the person becomes a star salesperson. You can send out an instant email to them saying, hey, $2,000 in sales, that is absolutely awesome. Well done. You're our star salesman for the month. Or
yeah, here's a badge.
Well, absolutely. You could send them a digital badge. Absolutely, 100%. So that side of things as well becomes like extremely powerful because you can recognize people. Now, the beauty that you can do as well, if your system is capable of it, is that when I recognize you, hey, I see you became a team leader. Congratulations. That's pretty cool. I can write to your upline in the same email. It can be part of that same email thread. Say, hey, listen, John, Stuart just become a team leader. Why don't you give him a ring?
Right.
And congratulate him. Now, John knows that Stuart has become a team leader. He picks up the phone and he says, hey, Stuart, well done. You became a team leader. That's awesome.
Yeah.
We can send John's upline, Peter, an email saying, hey, Peter, Stuart just became a team leader. Why don't you give him a call? And by the way, John's team is going crazy. He's just got his first team leader. And why don't you give him a call and congratulate him?
Yeah.
So by sending these 3 emails out, what you do is you create a whole lot of conversation in between your network. Now, that is set up. It's a set it and forget it deal. But the communication goes out automatically and gets everybody in the network talking to each other.
Sure.
So communication's absolutely key, but it needs to be clever. One of the things we did in Acorn Kids, which was tremendous fun, is I got everybody to download.
I was just about to ask you about this because I love this. I think this is brilliant.
Yeah, so I got everybody to download off our website. We put the ka-ching sound, you know, the old till sound.
The till, yeah.
That's right. So as the thing opened, it used to go ka-ching, and the till would open. So I got them all to download this ka-ching sound. It's the sound of money. And then what I did is I said to them, they need to tie it to the specific SMS number that we would send from. And if we sent from there, it meant somebody had joined your team.
Yeah.
So I would send you a welcome to the team SMS, but then I would send your upline, John, an SMS saying, hey, John, I see somebody just joined your team. Then the next level up, I'd say, hey, Peter, check this out. John's just signed somebody up. Why don't you give Stuart a ring, welcome into the team, and tell John, well done. But every time this came in, it would go ka-ching, and
brilliant.
You know somebody joined your team, and that was money in your pocket. And that created so much energy. So one day I was doing a presentation for Acorn Kids, sitting in around the corner here in that hotel we did our training in a little while ago. What's it called?
Stay Easy.
The Stay Easy. So I'm sitting in the Stay Easy at a table there, busy pitching the Acorn Kids business to this guy, and my phone keeps on going ka-ching. It says ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. The guy says, why does your phone keep on making that sound?
Yeah.
So I showed him the phone. It's another person just joined your team. Why don't you give them a ring? And I got about 5 of them in while I was doing the presentation.
Wow.
Anyway, he was really excited. He signed up. And when he signed up, I signed him up there and then, and my phone went ka-ching. And I said to him, check out, you just joined my network. And the impact that had on that guy was just phenomenal.
Yeah, but also the impact it had on you.
Yeah,
the
well,
validation.
Absolutely. I kept on getting this ka-ching, ka-ching. It was like you're sitting there, you're just feeling more and more excited all the time.
Yeah.
Now, that is part of being clever in your communications. That's part of saying, listen, we're not going to just slam our guys flat with special offers and all of that kind of stuff. That you post on your website. You don't email them.
Sure.
But when you email them, it needs to be targeted. It needs to be personalized. It needs to be something that really makes a difference in their lives.
Yeah.
If you send them an SMS, it's ka-ching, somebody just joined your team, so that they are excited to look at that SMS. What you don't want is to get to a point where they get so much communication from you that they stop looking at it.
Yeah.
That's a disaster.
Sure. Yeah.
So you got special offers, you post it on the website. You've got announcements to make, it goes in the blog. You've got updates to the software, it goes in the roadmap. All of that stuff happens on the website. You don't send out an email for that. But if you've got something of note to talk to the person about, hey, call Stuart and tell him well done because he just became team leader.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the only kinds of communications your people are getting from you, then they tend to open it.
Sure.
And they tend to read it and they tend to get excited about it. What I find happens a lot is that the clients now have this pipeline into their network where they can spew all sorts of garbage, and then they proceed to do that. They pound the guy with emails, and after a while the guy literally starts creating rules in his email box to shunt the emails to some sort of folder
junk.
13 junk mail so that he doesn't have to read them. And so that's the other side of the coin. You have to be judicious in how you communicate with your people.
Sure.
Don't abuse this right that you got, this privilege of
this access to them. Exactly. In terms of what we call the last mile communication, this is how your network connects with their prospects, their leads, or whoever they are. What sort of communication, Facebook posting and messaging, WhatsApp communication, should you be giving to your network in order for them to connect with their people across all the social platforms?
Yeah, so generally the way we do it is in our back office, we place a whole lot of marketing material. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. These are all posts that you can take out. You can literally copy them and post them to your Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Sure.
Okay. And so the idea is that you teach your people to once a week go into the back office, find a post they haven't used and push it to their Facebook account or push it onto Instagram or put it out to Twitter or whatever. So the impact of that is huge because it's called trust marketing.
Yeah.
If I see something from a company that's an advert, then what happens is I think, oh, well, that's an advert, I ignore it. But if I see my friend posting something that looks like he's actually physically posted it himself, so you've got to be careful how you craft that messaging.
Yeah.
Then suddenly it looks like he is saying something, he is making a statement, and that actually engages me. Now, let's put some numbers to this.
Sure.
The average network is about 30,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay? If you can create, say, 4 posts a month that your guys put out, that gives you how many posts?
120,000.
120,000 posts. Now, let's say you just have 100 exposures per post. In other words, it goes onto Facebook and 100 people see it, which is nothing. It's peanuts. I mean, the average person's got thousands of people looking at their Facebook account, following them.
Yeah.
Let's say you only have 100.
12 million?
That's 12 million. No, it's more.
Yeah, it's 12 million.
12 million.
Yeah.
12 million exposures. And how much did that cost you?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
Oh.
And so suddenly you own that space. What would it have cost you if you had to pay Facebook to do 12 million exposures?
Ridiculous.
Crazy.
Or paid for the SMSs, or paid for the whatever it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest things that you can do in terms of your communication is provide your network with mechanisms that they can take information from their back office and push it to their social media accounts, and then teach them how to do it and try to really aggressively get them to focus on what's happening.
Okay.
So I hope people are not hearing this banging on the roof here.
I think they're just building a third floor here.
Yeah, that's what
outside.
it sounds like. So we got guys repainting our building, and they are slamming on the roof here. I hope you guys can't hear it, but it's...
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, Richard, thank you so much for the time.
Was that it?
That's it. Appreciate it.
Oh, that's really cool. Nice
Yeah.
one. Well, thanks, Steve.
Thank you so much. Okay, guys out there, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I hope we've highlighted the importance of the communication that you need to be creating for your network to go out and become successful themselves. Please join us on all of our social platforms. We're on YouTube as well as Spotify, MLM for CEOs. We'd like to thank NetReady for the sponsorship, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.